What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day, because I am, because it's the first day of the NBA playoffs. It's one of the best days every year, and yeah, I'm excited to make this video today. I'm going to be sharing my 2022 NBA playoff predictions, and I have to get this video out as quick as possible because today's the first day of the playoffs, and yesterday the play-in tournament ended. They didn't give me enough time to make this video, so I have to make this really quickly, but don't worry, it's not going to change my view on the Mavericks versus Jazz game, which is happening right now. I had each of the two teams win at least one game, so that gives you a little bit of a hint. But anyways, there's a ton of great matchups. Here's what the bracket looks like if you haven't seen it yet. There's some interesting matchups here. So yeah, let's get right to the video. Alright, so I'm going to have to speed run through these because the playoffs are right now, and I'm trying to keep my videos under 10 minutes, so if I'm going to cover all these matchups, I have to hurry up. So with the first matchup here, we have the number 1 seeded Miami Heat versus the number 8 seeded Atlanta Hawks, and I think this one's kind of obvious. The Miami Heat are winning for me, and I have Miami Heat winning in 5 games. Next up, we have the 4 seeded 76ers versus the 5 seeded Toronto Raptors. And I think both teams are pretty good. I think this is going to be an interesting, entertaining series. I think it's going to be a close one too. But the Sixers have James Harden and Joel Embiid, and they're catching fire at the right time. So I think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win the series in 6 games. Alright, so this one is an interesting one. It's a 3 seed Milwaukee Bucks versus the 6 seed Chicago Bulls. And the Chicago Bulls, they don't have Lonzo Ball right now, and they have a really bad record against the top teams in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. They just have a losing record in general against the top teams. So I'm going to make a bold statement here and say the Milwaukee Bucks are winning, but that's not the bold statement. I think the Bucks are going to sweep the Bulls. Also, one more thing I wanted to add about this series is that during the regular season, the Milwaukee Bucks won every single time they played the Chicago Bulls. I thought that was kind of interesting too. Alright, so now we have my favorite team, the 2 seed Boston Celtics versus the 7 seed Brooklyn Nets. This one's a really controversial matchup. I don't even think there's any favorite to win this game. It's literally 50-50. And one thing I want to add is it really surprises me how many people think the Brooklyn Nets are going to beat the Boston Celtics. I mean, everyone's saying it's going to be in 6 or 7 games, but I mean, I'm really surprised how many people think the Nets are going to win. The Nets they haven't been healthy the whole year, and I think the Celtics, it's been different it's their year this year. I think we should give it to them. I'm not saying that just because I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not trying to be biased here, but I have the Celtics winning in 6 games. Alright, now we're moving on to the Western Conference. We have one of the less interesting playoff matchups. 1 seed versus 8 seed, Phoenix Suns versus New Orleans Pelicans, and I feel like this one, it's just, the Suns have really surprised me this year, and they're playing really good. I did not expect them to be this good again. I thought last year was just a fluke, but I was wrong, and I think the Phoenix Suns are not only going to win this series, but they're going to sweep the New Orleans Pelicans, unless something like Zion comes back, but I think that's very unlikely, so I think the Suns are going to win this one easily. Alright, so now we have the Mavericks versus the Jazz, 4 seed versus 5 seed. This one's going to be a really good one. In my opinion, I think this is the best playoff matchup out of all of them. The Mavericks are a really good team this year, but I feel like Luka is kind of carrying the load for them. They have Spencer Dinwiddie too, but I mean, I've learned from my past experiences that I've really underestimated the Jazz the last few years, and I think that's a mistake I've made, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. So I have the Utah Jazz winning in 6 games. Actually, I'll make it 7 games. I think it's going to be a close one. Next up, we have the Golden State Warriors versus the Denver Nuggets. I think this one's also a good one as well. Steph Curry and the Warriors versus Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, I think you can give him the MVP. It's between him and Embiid, or even Giannis. I think he's in the race too, but I have the Warriors winning this one. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I think it's going to be in 6 games. So yeah, Warriors in 6. Alright, so the last matchup of the first round that I still haven't covered yet is the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And a lot of people are underestimating the Timberwolves for this matchup. I mean, I still have the Grizzlies winning, but I think the Grizzlies, I think it's the amount of games that's different from what people think. I have the Grizzlies winning in 6 games. I think the Timberwolves can win at least 2 games in the series. I think they're a really good team this year as well. Alright, so now the Eastern semifinals, we have the Miami Heat versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I think we're finally going to have an upset here. I had one in the first round with Jazz beating the Mavericks, but I think the Sixers, they have James Harden and Embiid, and that's just an unstoppable duo. I think they're going to beat the Miami Heat in 6 games. Yeah, I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup. Alright guys, I really want to talk to you guys about this game, Bucks versus Celtics. If this happens, I think this is one of the best matchups in the playoffs. In order for this to happen, the Celtics would have to beat the Nets and the Bucks would have to beat the Bulls. So it's very likely that these two teams meet, and they've met in the past. And as a Celtics fan, like coming from a Celtics fan, this is the one team in the Eastern Conference we don't want to play. If we're playing the Nets, we don't care. If we're playing the Bulls, we don't care. But the Bucks, it's gonna be the toughest matchup for us because we don't want to play the reigning champions, and we do have to do that if we win and they win. So, but regardless, I still have the Celtics winning, and it's gonna be a very close one. I have the Celtics winning in 7 games, and it's gonna come down to Game 7, and I think in the end the Celtics, they're just overall the better team, but man, this is a really hard one to predict. Alright, now for the Western Conference semis, we have the Jazz and the Suns. I think this one's a little bit of an easier one to decide and predict. I have the Phoenix Suns winning this one in, I'll say 6 games. Yeah, Suns in 6. Alright, so now we have the last matchup of the conference semifinals, and I mean, here's the thing. The Grizzlies have been on a very good run so far, and sometimes even without their best player, Ja Morant. They have a really good record without him, and by really good, it's not just a winning record. It's like a really good record, guys. You guys should check it out, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But I feel like they're just an inexperienced team, and they're a very young team. And meanwhile, the Warriors, they've played with each other for a while, and they've won championships with each other. So, I mean, without a doubt, I have the Warriors winning this series. I'm going to say in 5 games. Alright, now moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, we have the Celtics and the Sixers. Personally, I think Celtics versus Bucks would have been a bit better at Eastern Conference Finals, but this is a pretty good one too. But over the last few years, the Celtics have owned the Sixers in the playoffs, and I think the Sixers, James Harden and Embiid just need some more time to click and build chemistry before they win a championship. And meanwhile, the Celtics, they have pretty good team chemistry. So for that reason, I have the Celtics winning the series in 5 games. Alright, and now we have the Western Conference Finals. Phoenix Suns versus the Golden State Warriors. This one's going to be a little bit of an upset here. I have the Warriors winning. It's going to be closer than the last matchup, though. I have the Warriors winning in 6 games. I just feel like the Warriors, both teams are really good. This is going to be a tough one to decide, but the Warriors, they have Clay back this year, and they have their big 3, and they've been winning championships for a while now, so I don't know why it would be any different now. So I have Warriors in 6 games. Alright, so that means the NBA Finals is Celtics versus Warriors. I think this would be a really good NBA Finals. This is what a lot of people thought the Finals was going to be in 2018, but here we have it. I have the Celtics winning in 6 games for a number of reasons, but if you watched my last video, you guys know that I had the Celtics winning the NBA championship. So watch that video for if you want to know why I have the Celtics winning. Yeah, I have the Celtics winning the championship. Jason Tatum, Finals MVP. And yeah, that's my predictions. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. Tell me in the comment section if you agree, who you think is going to win the championship. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.